Hello everyone and welcome to Best of the Year, Best of 2022, where I am joined by a whole host of creators telling you what's their favourite board game from the year. Now, the twist is, so as to not ruin all of their sort of top videos on their own channels, it doesn't have to be a 2022 release. And a little spoiler, mine isn't one of those. So if you saw my list on the Dice Tower, I am talking about a different game. Anyway, let's kick off with some creators. And first of all, we'll go to Barb, MeeplePhD, who is talking about a phenomenal game. Let's find out what it is.
Hi, it's Barb, MeeplePhD, and my favorite play of 2022 is Ark Nova. This game feels like it was made just for me. I love zoo-themed games. It is one of my top themes for games. And one of the things I really love about this is that it is not a typical family weight zoo game. It is a couple of steps beyond that where, this is a gamery version of a zoo game. In Ark Nova, you are building up a zoo in front of you. You have a hex map where you are laying out enclosures for animals, and then you're populating them with the animals, all the while trying to fulfill some conservation projects. One of the things that really interested me about this game, not just the theme, but is that how it reflects what modern zoos are doing today. They house animals to draw people in, to make us care about these animals, but then they are also reaching beyond just their own zoo to try and foster these conservation projects around the world. And so Ark Nova has captured that in a really cool way. The mechanisms in this game are really cool. I like the action selection where you have this row of cards and you're choosing an action. The position of the card tells you the strength of the action and how, whether you can build a size 1 enclosure or a size 5 enclosure. And then once you take the action, you slide it back to that number 1 position. And so, the actions become stronger and then weaker as you use them. And there's this great decision making about, how do I chain together these actions to get the most out of them? You are, as you're building up your zoo, you're also creating these partnerships and sponsorships which basically is playing cards, but they chain things together. So, okay, now I've played another Africa animal, so then I get some extra money for that. So there's a lot going on in this game. You're paying attention to how much appeal your animals have, immediately, but also those conservation projects, and you're trying to make these 2 point tracks meet. Every time I play this, I love it. It's a longer game, but it doesn't feel like it. It just has this beautiful arc where you start out slow and then by the end you're trying to just milk everything you can out of the few turns you have left. And I can't wait to get this to the table again. This is my game of the year. I would play it in a minute. I hope you had a great gaming year in 2022. I'm Barb, MeeplePhD. I am on Instagram and Twitter. I have my own YouTube channel where I connect astronomy and board games, but I also have other just board game related content that hopefully you'll enjoy. So go check me out there. Otherwise, I hope you have a great 2023.
Hey everybody, Dan here, aka Chairman of the Board. I want to wish you all a happy new year and thank you to Ollie for inviting me on to his channel. I've been asked to talk about my favourite game that I played during 2022, and for me, without doubt, that is Russian Railroads. So Russian Railroads is a medium weight worker placement game that feels so unlike anything else of its type, especially in the way that you gain points. And you're going to do that by increasing the quality of these 3 different railway tracks, and you can do that by pushing these different pieces up these tracks. However, in order to get to the good stuff, you need to be making sure you're moving the rubbish stuff out of the way. And it has this great forward momentum. As each scoring phase, you're getting more and more and more points, and you're just completely showered in points by the time it gets to the end. Everything is a good option here. The worker placement part of the game is very tight You need to be making sure that you're beating your opponents to the punch and getting things as efficiently as possible. You can get your own personal worker placement spaces. You can build up this other kind of track of these tiles that you can collect to get you engine building benefits. It is just a great game. And you know, I play a lot of Euro games, and this one is a stand out for me. And do not be put off by maybe the more dry aesthetic or even the name itself. You know, Russian Railroads doesn't sound particularly enticing, but the fun factor for this game is off the charts, and I could not recommend it enough. So yeah, for me, head and shoulders above the rest for me, that is Russian Railroads as my favourite game for 2022. If you're not familiar with myself, then I do encourage you to come and check out my content over on my Chairman of the Board YouTube channel. I cover a ton of different topics, you know, top 10 lists, cull videos, best of the month videos, and everything in between. I also tend to do deep dives when it comes to my reviews, mostly covering Euro games, but of course I do cover other things as well. So I'd love it if you could join me over there. But for everybody else, I'll see you next time.
What is up? My name is Matthew McCack, and I am so happy to be here on Oliver's channel with their Best of 2022. So my game of the year for 2022 is Foundations of Rome. I don't even know if the camera completely picked that up there. Foundations of Rome is a massive game. As you can see by the box, it takes up an entire calyx cubicle square thing. But the reason I love this game is because, yes, the table presence is amazing. I love it. I love playing with the big chunky buildings, you know, that you get to place all over the board and everything. But the game itself looks a lot more intimidating than it really is. The game is actually very streamlined, very smooth, and it's pretty simple really to play with a lot of strategy going on where you're getting deeds and lots to build your buildings on, and you could even upgrade your buildings. There's so many different modules that come in the game already where you can play with monuments, where you different people are, you know, vying for a building. It's a monument, and only one person can take that building, as opposed to how everything else works, where you have your own board with a set of a bunch of different buildings that everybody has, but you're placing them out on the main board. And but the monuments are really cool, where like it's sort of like a little bit of an objective or a certain way that you can place the building. So I really like playing with the monuments. They add something special. There's secret objectives that you could play with. There's roles that you could play with, which is really cool. They have a solo version of the game as well if you have the expansion, Gardens of Ceres, actually I don't know how you pronounce that. But anyway, designed by Emerson Matsuuchi, which is, you know, he just comes out with banger of games, and it's published by Arcane Wonders, fantastic publishing company. I think they just come out with fantastic games over and over again, and this is no exception. And I would say that I know that some people might feel that this is an overproduced game. I think that it is produced exactly the way it needed to be. And I was speaking with Robert Geislinger, who works with Arcane Wonders, and he was saying that they actually tried it with just regular polyomino tiles and everything, but it didn't work as well. It actually extended the gameplay. And I love that this game could play in pretty much about an hour, which is amazing. And so you could play it kind of like, I get the feeling like I've played it and I'm like, okay, again, you know, so you definitely get your money's worth out of this game. Where this actually pops off the shelf more so than some of my other games that I've spent even more money on, just because like they're just bigger in game essence, I guess. But whatever. This is my favorite game that has come out in 2022 by far. So thank you so much for watching. If you like, you can check out mine and my brother's channel called Room 51. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitch as Room 51 Live. If you'd like to check us out there, we're also on all kinds of social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all at This Is Room 51. I will catch you next time. Have a happy new year. And I hope that your new year has actually gone off to a really great start. I'll catch you all next time.
So I might have given it away a little bit when I introduced MeeplePhD's segment earlier, my favourite game that I've really enjoyed. It just really grabbed me since the very first time I played it. In fact, I played it and then went and bought it, and that was Ark Nova. It is, for me, an absolutely beautifully designed game. Yes, people will complain, the decks, there's some luck and stuff coming out of it. You have to sort of go with the flow a little bit in terms of, these are the cards I've got, what's the best I can do with these? But it's still so much fun. It's got tile laying, love tile laying. It's got sort of, not card drafting, but the opportunity to gain cards from a sort of market that changes. And you have the opportunity to widen the amount of cards from that market you can collect, or just gain more cards. You've got different choices coming left, right and centre at you, as in Ark Nova you are crafting, hopefully, a semi-decent zoo. In fact, I've seen awful zoos do very well point scoring wise, as they've basically got an empty zoo apart from an overflowing reptile house in the middle with a petting zoo off at the side gate and things like that. It's just, it's one of those games, not too many of them come out, where you play it and you are just blown away and want to play again instantly. A lot of games, it's like, oh, I want to play again. I want to play again. And Ark Nova just takes it that step further. It's not just I want to play it again, it's when the game's finished, you're still thinking about it later that day. Just you're thinking, oh, those cards, I could have maybe played slightly different. Oh, that's the strategy they went for. Should I have released that animal into the wild for that conservation? It's all of those choices. They come back to haunt you in a good way, as your zoo can just have awesome animals in it and you can just be plodding along and having a good time, or you can really try and min-max. Like I said, it's not the sort of game, because there are some luck elements, it's not the sort of game to get bogged down by your score every time. But it was also really frustrating when I lost a game by 1 point. But anyway, my best of the year, part 1, is Ark Nova. I'll see you after a few more creators.
Hey, what's up, Brew Crew? This is Clay from BeerCityBoardGames, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about my favorite game from 2022, Endless Winter, Paleo Americans. Endless Winter is a deck-building worker placement game set in North America as early American tribes begin settling into villages, creating cultural traditions, and try to survive the harsh Ice Age. Players will take one of 4 worker placement actions, comboing these with cards that they've built up in their decks to increase the strength of those actions. And these actions can include growing your tribe, establishing culture, both of which are represented by adding new cards to your deck, migrating and settling new villages, which adds an element of area control to gain resources and points, and hunting dangerous megafauna, which is all about set collection for the different types of animals. You'll need to plan carefully though, because before moving into a new round, players will go through the Eclipse phase. Certain cards set aside for this phase will provide powerful effects. The production of this game is phenomenal, and Fantasia Games has definitely got my attention after coming out of the gate with this title. The miniatures for each chieftain look amazing, and if you have the Kickstarter edition like what we have, it comes with a wash on them which makes it look as if they're carved from bone, which is a beautiful thematic touch. The molded inserts fit everything perfectly, and each player has their own storage insert for components, which I appreciate. Not to mention the artwork by the Miko is stunning. He is, in my opinion, one of the best artists working in board gaming. There's a lot going on in this game, and for gamers like me who love trying a lot of different strategies, this game has a lot to offer. Deck building, worker placement, area control, set collection, track movement, all of these mechanisms are present. Additionally, with tons of cards and dozens of different bonus scoring opportunities, replayability is through the roof. So, there you have it. That's my favorite game of 2022, Endless Winter Paleo Americans. If you're interested, it would mean a lot to us if you'd come check out our channel, Beer City Board Games, on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitch. We do reviews, live plays, general board game chats, and we love meeting new people through this hobby. So until next time, let's get another round for the table.
Hello everyone, this is Ale from GamersRush. I just want to show you the best games I played so far this 2022. And I'm saying about games because it's the same word, but they're different games. It's a match, and I'm talking about these two versions, the Marvel versions, Redemption Row and Hell's Kitchen. Having a lot of fun with these games. A match is a very simple, easy game to play. It's very straightforward. Just take the deck of the hero you want to play, put the map on, shuffle it, let's go. That's it. Rules are pretty simple, and to be honest, I love a match. I only have one, and when I saw this, a match and Marvel put together, it was like no-brainer to get them, and I'm having so much fun. For me, it's one of the best games I've played so far. I'm really enjoying it a lot. And what else can I say? It's Marvel and a match put together. Best for me is Redemption Row because it has Ghost Rider, one of my favorite characters. But from Hell's Kitchen, I really love the Electra mechanics from Death to Rebirth. It's pretty awesome mechanic. So that's it. Hope you have beautiful holidays and talk to you later. Bye.
Hey everybody, 2022 was full of highs and lows, but as far as gaming goes, we had quite a few highlights. Some are included our playing through the Exit Advent Calendar in December. We played through the Ice Cave as a family every day for 24 days. A lot of fun. We also got to play through Pandemic Legacy Season 0. That was a lot of fun. We played it with 4 players. On New Year's Eve, we played Deception Murder in Hong Kong 10 times. Great fun. And then, as mentioned in a previous Best of the Month, I got to play Comic Hunters and teach it to some people at Grand Con. That was great. Loved it. Great experience. And then also playing through a campaign of Sleeping Gods was really fun this past year. So of all my 322 plays of 161 different games, my best of the year is going to require a bit of a story. So there's this TV show that there's a game based on that my mom really enjoyed from the 50s. She had this copy of this game sitting on her shelves for years and years and years. And she eventually just gave it to me because, you know, I like board games, right? So it kind of became this running joke on our Favorite Game Friday segments for no real particular reason. So like it would show up from time to time, and it's almost always in the background of all those segments on the Dice Tower. And so what we did is we decided that this year we're going to play it. So, and then we're going to put the playthrough on my channel because why not, right? It's so silly. Maybe people get a kick out of it. We got a kick out of it. So very unusual. My best game of the month is going to be Ben Casey MD. You see, I have 2 copies because the one that my mom had did not have instructions and it was missing a card. So I went on eBay and bought a second copy, pretty cheap, you know, because, come on. And then we set it up, we played it, we recorded it, and then the camera, like, cut off. And so cut off half of the playthrough, or like the end of the playthrough or whatever. So we set it up, recorded it, played it again, and it is available to watch on my channel. And it's basically just a simple roll and move game where everyone has to play Ben Casey. There's multiple clones of Ben Casey running around this hospital, and you go from like room to room trying to collect these like diagnosis cards, and then once you think you have enough diagnosis cards, you make it down into the medical ward where you have to try to diagnose these patients. And then I think when all the cards are gone off the board, whoever has done the most successful diagnoses wins the game. But it's really silly. It's a roll and move and a memory game because the patients are face down, so you don't always know what is ailing them until you go look at them, and then you have to remember whatever. It's really silly. It's it's shockingly doesn't take too long for like a roll and move game, because some roll and move games can take all day. But very little decisions. But it felt like this culmination of like this couple years of a running joke. So it might not make sense to anyone. It almost doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, Grayson and I both had a great time playing that this year. So yeah, I guess that's going to be my pick, as silly as it is, for the best experience of 2022. So if you want to check that out, it is on my channel, and I am also looking forward to what everyone else picks, and I hope everyone has a fantastic gaming year in 2023. Bye, everybody.
Hey, friends and gamers, it's Frenchy from Frenchy Plays Games. Happy New Year, and a toast with some coffee to 2023. I hope this finds you safe and healthy and optimistic for a great new year. 2022, Frenchy was able to play a ton of games, and one of the games that I thought was immediately shooting to the top of my list is none other than this game right here, Carnegie, from Quinn Games, designed by Javier George and artwork by none other than Ian O'Toole. Carnegie is a game in which players are using an Euro-style economic type game depicting the life of American businessman, philanthropist, and industrialist Andrew Carnegie in the 19th century. Each player is going to have their own board and employees, and throughout the game they'll be building departments which they'll be able to dispatch their employees and activate for different resources and game effects. The game really is going to go through 20 rounds. Each round, one player is going to do one action. Based on a timeline they have, they select one action, and that's their action they're going to take for that round. But every other player is going to be able to take the similar action as well. And so when they select that action, they'll be able to go ahead and either take income, make a donation, and then look at their board based on the departments that they have on their board, and then activate their employees. Now with this, there's the other map that's going to be on the table of the continental United States during this time. Players are going to be activating their employees, getting income based on where they are on the board. They're going to also go ahead and put discs on based on the different cities. Also, the employees in the different regions are going to have different effects based on where they are with the progression of riding on horse or modes of transportation, going up to horse and carriage and then locomotive as well. This will be the progression timeline. There's also a philanthropy board up on the top where players can go ahead and get in-game scoring bonus effects. When I play this game, it's very tight. It worked very, very seamlessly. Some of the mechanics are really nice to use. The board also has 4 different sliders that come out, which still depict income, and also you'll have discs there you're going to go ahead and depict on the board. The game works super, super well. It was very easy to play. One of those games where it doesn't look like you can do much, but accelerates and builds throughout the game. Really satisfactory. And if you like good Euros, Euro that has a good theme to it, if you like a Euro that has nice aesthetics to it, it's nice economic building and worker placement on your board, this is a game for you. I highly recommend it. It's Frenchy's favorite game of 2022, and that is Carnegie. Again, hope everybody is well. Happy New Year. Play nice. Take care of yourself. Until next time.
Hello, I'm Jeremy, and I'm joined by the Noomies, Christian, and producer Panda Elaine, and we are representing King's Entertainment Reviews. Today, we're going to talk about our best game of the year, and that is Orichalcum. It is a Pandasaurus game, a recent release from them, and I really like this game because of the kind of theming and how it ties into how the game is played. What are your thoughts?
I like it because it's a tile-laying game, and I don't have many of those games in my collection, so I get to do a little tile-laying and do some strategy as well. I think the only downside is the artwork's a little generic. I couldn't tell that the Titans were Titans at first. I thought it was like Zeus and his friends. And sometimes dice rolls get you down. I'm the Will Wheaton of the group, apparently. That's what I've learned.
Yes, Elaine is not good at the dice rolling. What are your thoughts?
I never had to roll a dice once whenever I play this game, but that's also because I leave out an entire facet of this game that I don't enjoy. But the tiling and resource management I am all about. Being able to work with multiple different resources that have different actions that you can spend them on, as well as this way to build out your board and add tiles to your space to then build upon those to make buildings, which will then further your resource gathering methods. Really was something that was fun and intuitive and easy for me to learn, as well as a fantastic game experience.
Yeah, I absolutely love all those things that you touched on. I like the fact that there's a lot of different ways that you can kind of go about trying to win. There's the pacifist route, there's the mixed route, and then there's the battling everything route.
I woke up and chose violence. What can I
Yes.
say?
It worked out for you.
Yeah. And I think that Pandasaurus pumps out a lot of good games. You can see I'm repping their merch here. And I like to see what they're going to be doing going into 2023.
Me too.
Again, I am Jeremy. This is Christian. This is Elaine, and we're representing King's Entertainment Reviews.
Hi, I'm Julian, and this is Libby, and we are from BoxedMeeples. You can find us right here on YouTube, but we're also on Instagram and Twitter and other social media that are rising up. So, many games in 2022.
We have.
What is your absolute favourite game you've played this year?
My favourite, and I think I played it all the way back in January, was The Great Wall, and it's one that I'd been kicking myself. I've talked about it on the channel several times. I'd kicked myself that I didn't back it straight off. I've since obviously backed the reprint of it, but in the meantime we've managed to play, a couple of our friends have it, so we've played a couple of versions. One has this full miniatures version, one has the Meeples version, so it's nice sort of compare and contrast, and I'm just super excited to have my own copy as well. But it's just a joy of a game, in my opinion. I love the theming, the artwork is glorious, and I love how it combines the sort of two methods within the one game. So you're sort of sending out different people to be either maybe putting armies on the wall or gathering different resources. It's quite the worker placement style game in the sort of bottom half of the board, which is something that I really love in a game. And then you've got this sort of top half that when your armies are out, they're there, they're fighting the barbarians on the wall, you're matching up what sort of best mechanisms you can use with your card actions. Are you best to put your archers out because you're going to get more points, and sort of really work an engine going with how you're going to get your different points and things like that. So it's that two sides to the game, and all the different ways that you can sort of vary your play with your clans and your cards maxing up, and yeah, just absolutely love it. And I can't wait to get my own set of all those little miniatures, which I think I got the top ones. I went all in.
Yeah, you've got everything you could. What I really love about that game is doing the bare minimum to keep the Emperor happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
As long as you're involved in defending that wall, he's fine with you. But if you don't do anything,
shame on you.
That's fine. I like to do my own agenda while chipping in a little bit to help China.
Yeah.
Well, my favourite game of this year is now my favourite game ever. But it wasn't a game I played until this year. Lots of people talked about it. I was scared of it. But I shouldn't have been scared of it because it prevented me from playing it for so long. If you don't know this game, you really should. It's a asymmetrical at its core war game, a war in a woodland forest, where every single faction you play as plays entirely differently. And yes, that is a steep learning curve.
Yeah, I feel like if you want to play the base game, you kind of need to play a game as each faction, or even if this is on the app, which is a great way to learn, and then you've got an idea of what everyone on the board is doing, and then you can kind of go in for your game proper. So yeah, that does take a time investment to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's a hard sell saying you'll enjoy the fifth game, but I really love it. Really, really love it. I've been playing it obviously since April, and I've played 80 games of this either on an app or with people. Literally every chance we get to play this with a group of friends, we are playing it. I've had occasions where I've played it till 2 a.m. just because we wanted to have another game. And I love how each of the different factions plays differently. That unique selling point of the game is what makes it wonderful, because then not only do you have a varied game based on the player count, but then you also have a varied game based on who the players are playing as. It feels different at 4-player to what it does at 6-player, and it didn't used to work at 2. I've had people play it who we know and really respect, and they played at 2, and just couldn't see the appeal. But now with the hirelings, that's a little bit better, so it does now play better at 2. But yeah, when you've got a group of people around the table who really understand this game, who really know the factions, I find that's gaming really at its very, very best. And the best games I've had are when it's been right down to the wire, where we're all on the cusp of winning, and it just depends on what the other players do to when you're going to get that victory. Love Root, and I hope we haven't seen the end of this, because I want more factions, I want more people to play as, and I want more opportunities to play it in varied settings. So yeah, game of the year has to be, for me, has to be Root.
Hey, this is Mark with The Thoughtful Gamer, and I'm here to present my favorite game of the year. This is not a 2022 release, because honestly, I didn't play that many 2022 releases. I've been playing some older games, but this is my favorite new game that I played, new for me game that I played in 2022, and honestly, it did not take very long to come up with my answer. I definitely knew it was going to be Photograph, or Wind the Film if you have the original Japanese version. This game is fantastic. It's a little card game. It combines one of the best drafting systems I've seen with a unique scoring system and real tension throughout with just a deck of cards. I don't know why it was rebranded as Photograph, which is the most generic name on the face of the earth, when the original was called Wind the Film, and actually makes thematic sense with one of the mechanisms in the game, which is literally called winding the film. But we'll put that aside. It's honestly a tragedy that it's really difficult to find a copy now. I managed, I think, to snag one of the last copies that was being sold in the United States. I think you can still go online and get it directly from the Japanese publisher, and it's not that expensive. It's a little more expensive than what I paid for it, but hopefully another publisher picks this game up and then prints it, because this should be in print basically forever. It's really remarkably done. It's easy to learn, it's tight, it's focused, it's weirdly thematic in a way, even though it's basically just colors and numbers. It's quick to learn. It's got everything you want in a small box game. And again, one of the best drafting systems I have ever played in any game, not even talking about just small box games. This is one that's going to stay in my collection basically forever. I cannot foresee ever really not wanting to have it around. It's a fantastic game. And it takes its designer, Sashi, up to the level of designers that I'm really keeping an eye out on, because he also designed Let's Make a Bus Route, which was rebranded as Get On Board for the US printing, and that's a fantastic roll and write game. In fact, probably my favorite roll and write game I've ever played. So whatever Sashi's doing, I'm going to keep an eye out on it. Hopefully his designs keep making it over into the United States, and hopefully they stick around in the United States, because he's clearly a very talented designer. That's my favorite game of 2022, Photograph, or as you might call it, Wind the Film, the preferred name. Why did they call it Photograph? That's so dull. Anyways, I'm Mark with The Thoughtful Gamer. You can find everything I do with board games at thethoughtfulgamer.com.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Hello.
My name is Dave Luza.
My name is Bo Luza. My name is Ilka Luza.
And we present to you the best games of 2022.
In our opinion, yeah.
Yes. And only the things that we have played, and games that are new to us, because sometimes you discover a game in a year that it did not come out in.
Yes, that has existed for some time, but you were not aware of.
But sometimes you play a game that you really love, but that is actually has not come out yet.
And only because you're very, very lucky to know the awesome designer, you get to play it. And that's my game of the year. That is this game. It is Race to the Raft.
Race to the Raft. Ilka,
Yes.
You fell in love with this game. Why? How?
Yes, this is... do you want me to unpack something? Or
No, just give
like
a
this?
very
Good,
short
good.
idea of what the game is.
We all know I Love Cats. We all know and love it, where we save cats from the evil Captain Vash. Well, some cats are left behind, and in this game we save them. The island has a small problem. It's on fire, and there's fire and more fire and more fire, and we lay tiles of fire, and in between there's some cats that we try to get to the raft.
Yeah, it's a polyomino puzzle game that is just amazing. It's co-op. I really enjoy this game as well, but I thought, no, it's not this year, but you are right. I should have put this on my list. So, Bo, what is your game of 2022, although it is 2023 now?
My favorite game of the year is Beasts of Balance.
Beasts of Balance, that is an older game.
Yeah, it is a stacking game that you can see the things that you stack on the tower. You can see them on your screen, and you can cross them and do little challenges.
Yes, it uses an app,
yeah,
and the beasts really come to life,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
And because you can mix the beasts, you can put them in a different habitat. So if you start out with a bear, you can put a bear in the air. What does it become?
A bear.
A bear.
Bear.
Of course.
Bear.
So it got puns as well. So do you think this game is better than Ilka's game?
Yeah, it's a bigger box.
It's much bigger. If we compare, I mean, this looks like nothing, but if we see them from the side, this is a really big box. Yes. Very good game.
Here's
Bob.
my game of the year.
Oh
Dun,
my
dun,
goodness.
dun. Foundations of Rome blew me away this year. When I got it, I knew it was going to be big, but this big, it fits a calyx exactly one square, and then it's completely filled up. And oh boy, Emerson Matsuuchi made a city building game and it's so easy, but all the players, they get these trays with all these not real life buildings, but miniature buildings. It is lovely.
Normally, I would say this is too big, but in this case, I'm of the opinion this is just big enough. Also, normally, I'm not into painting minis, but in this case, if you paint the buildings, it makes a big difference.
And
It's
now we
really
should
beautiful.
finish it, I guess. Finish painting it all.
Yes.
Thank you so much for watching our picks for 2022. If you get a chance to play these, then please do. My name is Dave Luza.
My name is Bo Luza.
I'm Ilka Luza.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello and welcome. My name's Adam with Board at Home, and here I am with Ollie and Don't Be Boards for the best of 2022. And what better way to look back on the year than pick our favourite games? So, without any further ado, we have got Acropolis by Gigamig as my game of 2022. This is a tile drafting and tile placement game that came out in the summer last year, and since it's come out, it's one that I've not been able to put down at all. It's become a go-to for a recommendation for people coming here to play, people coming to look for a fun, easy board game for families getting into board games, something that sort of the more experienced hobby gamers can get into. So it's one that's really ticking a lot of boxes for a lot of different types of board game fans, which for me is one of the perfect types of board games. So in this game, you are given your starting tile for your city, and you will be picking these tiles in the middle of the table to add to your city. And tiles have got a few different characteristics, which are all very clearly laid out. I do like that. It is a very well laid out game, where you've got your plazas, which are your stars, which are the multiplier, the districts themselves, which are different colours, and then the quarries, these ones here, which as you cover up during the course of the game, give you stone, which open up your choices to try and take better tiles, more preferred tiles during your turn as well. You also have this kind of off-kilter round structure where whoever is the first player each turn will actually take 2 tiles. So in a 2-player game, for example, if I'm the first player, I'll take a tile here, so I might take this one, and then the other player will take their tile, and then I'll come back to me and I get to take another tile. So when it gets to their turn, we have 1 tile left that shunts to the front of the queue. You then take out 3 more tiles, place those down, they become the first player, and now they have the choice of picking 2 tiles in their turn. For me, it's kind of a nice little twist on the usual draft mechanic. It's said it's off kilter, so it presents a different kind of choice for players as well. It's a weird one. You really have to sort of sit down and play it to kind of really appreciate that. But I just like how you have to sort of go around the entire player count before you finish a sort of full round proper. Everyone's got the same amount of tiles. For me, this is one that has become a perennial for the shop, so it's one that we always keep in stock, and I dare say it's now one that's become our go-to and has replaced other games such as King Domino as our recommended game for families, for younger children as well, to come along and play. A little bit more to it than something like King Domino, but I feel that there's a lot more satisfaction in the game than something like King Domino. If you live local and you haven't tried this game out yet, do come on down. I'll be happy to set up and give you a demo. We always keep this in stock as well. If you don't live local to here and you haven't played it yet, I cannot recommend it enough. It's a really, really good fun game. If you enjoy games like King Domino or other games like Cascadia or Calico, for example, this is one that's going to kind of fit that kind of niche for you as well. A little bit more open than Calico, and a sort of similar kind of vibe to Cascadia there in terms of picking the tiles that you'd like to choose from the centre. So that is my game of 2022. It'll be interesting to hear yours in the comments below, and I look forward to seeing what all my fellow content creators have picked for theirs as well. Once again, thank you, Ollie, for having me on, and I look forward to all the awesome releases that will be coming for 2023. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the boardroom.
Seeing that, it would be harsh not to say Acropolis was one of my standout 2022 releases, and you can see that if you watch my top 10 2022 games on the Dice Tower channel, so I won't ruin that video for you. I do, however, have a second game that I picked up this year and then picked up 6 or 7 expansions for it within the space of about a month. It was very expensive. I've even bought a second base game copy when I was at UK Games Expo. You've probably heard me talk about it a lot in this channel, a lot on the Dice Tower, because it's a lot of fun. Pitch Car. It's very quickly become one of my go-to dexterity games. It needs room. It takes time to set up. You need a good amount of players. But there's something very satisfying about flicking a disc around a racetrack, going over jumps, going around a loop, weaving in and out of corner bits which are thinned or have different routes that you can go on. It's incredibly satisfying managing it. It's incredibly frustrating when you can't. It's an old game. It's expensive to pick up. So I can't recommend it to everyone. But if you have the opportunity to play it, Pitchgar has entered my collection and just provided a lot of fun in 2022. Anyway, that about wraps us up. If you have enjoyed any of the games that have been mentioned today or not, let us know about it in the comments section below. Go and check out all of the creators that have been involved. Their link will be under their timestamp in the description box below. They're all awesome. Thank you very much for being part of this. And, well, happy 2023, and hope everyone has a great year gaming.